Okay, this video is going to be about how to download and install all the necessary software for using the microtonal ear training patches. You'll need four things. You'll need some sort of program that can unzip and decompress .zip archives and .rar archives. You'll need the Max Msp software itself. You'll need the patches for those microtonal ear training tools from my website, and you will need the Bach library, which is inside of Max Msp, and we'll download it in there once we get this installed. So first thing, again, is we'll need an archiving tool. This thing is just going to decompress the files. So if you have one of these already that can handle .rar archives and .zip archives, great. And if you don't, you can use the ones I show you. So I would go to rarlab.com/download for these. And for Windows, you're going to want the 64-bit version right here, the graphical and command line version. You can use this on Mac, but you have to know how to use command line. So if you're not familiar with that, I would actually recommend this tool called the Unarchiver for Mac. This can also handle .rar archives. Okay, so to download and install this, we just click on this. And in Mozilla, which is the browser I use, my downloads are here. So I click on that. And then I click on this file. And it asks me permission to install it. I say yes. And then we get this screen and click install. Now it's going to ask a bunch of stuff about what files to associate it with. You don't really need to worry about any of this, except if you want to add an icon to your desktop to access the program quicker, you can click this. Okay, so I'm not going to install this because I already have it, but this, you would click OK and it would install the program. So once you have that, or if you're on a Mac, you would download this tool called the Unarchiver from TextBot. Once you have that, that should automatically sense the format of the following files that we look at. So next thing is to go to cycling74.com. So it's the word cycling and then the number 74. And then go to download Max 8 in the top right menu, or the top menu. And then if you're on Mac, you just click this to change the button. Just make sure this button here, this big green thing, says what type of system you're on. I'm on Windows, so I'm going to click Windows 64-bit. And if it doesn't start downloading automatically, then just click this gray thing right here. Now, the easiest way to decompress this file is to just click open with. This will automatically, once it finishes the download, it will open it up in WinRAR, or sometime, like if you have the Unarchiver, it might say Unarchiver here. That's the easy way. I'm going to do it the hard way just in case someone does this manually, so we can show the process. So click Save File or Open With and click OK. This will take a minute. Max Msp is somewhat big. Now, Max Msp, you'll have access to the full version and full functionality for 30 days. After that, you won't be able to save your patches anymore. So you can still use indefinitely the ear training patches that we're going to download, but you won't be able to save any edits you make to them. So just be aware. You can download a full copy of Max Msp for about $200, I think, with a student license. Look into it. I think they'll ask you to send like a copy of your NEC ID. But it's a pretty good deal considering how widely this program is used and how flexible it is, and many musicians do use it. It's becoming very popular, and if you're interested in the program in general, then I definitely recommend getting it and taking a look. Okay, so while Max Msp is downloading, go to my website, which is myname.com, so KYLEQUARLES.com, and then go to writing/code, and then go down to microtonal ear training patches. Click on that, and same process here. If you want to do it the easy way, you can just click open with. That will automatically open it with the archiver, but we'll do the hard way just to show the process. That goes much faster. So go to your downloads folder and click on this right containing folder here icon. This will take you to the item in your downloads folder. It'll be highlighted. So right click on it, or on Mac it'll be option click, and then click open with WinRAR or open with Unarchiver or whatever tool you're using to do this. So here, the only thing we need to do is extract the files. I'm not sure what Unarchiver looks like, but I guarantee you it's got some button that says like extract or something. So select all the files and click extract to. Well, and actually, sorry, before we do that, we should create a new directory. So it's good to just have one folder that we put all this Max stuff in. So I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop called New Max, because I already have this stuff, but it's good to just keep everything organized, and then go back to WinRAR and click extract to, this blue folder button here. Then find that folder. You don't need to mess with any of these settings or anything like that. I found my new Max folder. Once it's highlighted, I click OK. If I did that right, then all those files should be here. Okay, good. Now let's extract Max Msp. So we go again to our downloads folder, and then this one should say like Max 815 something, and then same process, right click on it, open with WinRAR, and then extract to. Find that same directory. Now go to that directory, and we're going to double click on that installer file, this Max 815 installer. This will guide you through the whole installation process for installing Max Msp. I'm not going to complete it because I already have the program, but all the defaults for the installation, as far as I know, are perfectly reasonable. It's going to put everything in a logical place. I wouldn't mess with anything. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this, but you should just keep clicking next until this is done. So once you've installed Max Msp, you should have some little icon on your desktop that it installed. If not, you can just search for the program. But go ahead and open Max Msp. Sometimes just called Max 8. Its logo looks like that. Max is a fairly big program. It can take a minute to open. Okay, once it's open, you should get some window that looks like this. You might not have all the same writing that's here in mine, but some window that sort of looks like this. Go up to File in the top left. Go to New Patcher. And from here, we're at the last step to get the last piece of software we need. Go to the left menu here and click Package Manager. This looks like a cube. Yours might not have this yellow circle by it, but it will look like a cube. And if you hover over it, it should say Package Manager. Click on that. And in this window, you're going to look for the Bach library. So go up to this search bar in the top right, type Bach, and this, you're looking for the one that looks like this. You don't need Cage or Dada. You want this one that says Bach. Click on that. Now mine says conflict because install and resolve conflict, because I already have a version of this installed. So I'm not going to click on this button, but yours won't say that. Yours will just say install, and you should click on that and wait for Bach to finish installing. Now once you've done that, you have all the tools you need to open the ear training patches. So once we've installed Max, we've opened Max, installed Bach, unzipped and put all the Microtonal ear training patches in that Max folder, you've got everything you need. So go up to File, Open, and then find that folder that you made on your desktop with all those ear training patches in it, and then click on the first one that says 24ET class. And here it is. This is the microtonal ear training patch. We went over how to use it in another video, so I'm not going to really cover it. There's some basic instructions up here, but basically you can click on notes and drag them around. You can drag them to the left or right. You can delete notes by selecting and backspacing. You can add notes by holding control and clicking. You can save ideas. That's a little more involved, but watch that other video for instructions. One thing I didn't cover in the other video is how you might learn more about what Max Msp is and how to use it in case you want to modify and play around with these. So as I showed in the other video, this is sort of like a presentation mode, but if you click that off, you can see what's going on under the hood. This is what a Max patch looks like when you unlock it, and it's sort of every one of these objects here is sort of like a miniature program, and you connect them with these patch cords and they send data through other parts of the program, and it does various things. And you can create new objects by hovering your mouse in an empty space and clicking the letter N, and then there's a huge number of available objects for you to use. That's just the Bach library. But if you want to learn how to do all this stuff and how to use Max Msp, you don't need to just use this patch. You'll just be able to interact with this patch and use it for microtonal ear training without knowing anything about Max Msp. But if you are curious, you can click on this icon here, the file browser, which is right underneath that package manager that I showed you before, and click on that. And if this doesn't automatically pop up, scroll down to these like almond looking things on the bottom and click on that, and then this menu says built-in content should show up, and go down to tutorials, then click Max Tutorials. All these are extremely useful and they will guide you into the very basics of how to use the program. If you double click on one of them, opens up a file, and you can follow along with this while you work. So like if you have a patcher open, like a new patcher, you can be making the stuff that the tutorial shows you and moving back and forth. So like if we go to this first or second tutorial here, it'll show you the tutorial with a lot of text and sometimes some pictures. But if you want to look at the actual content of the tutorial, this is the best thing to do is click Open Tutorial here at the top, and it will have it pre-made for you, so you can see what happens when you build all the stuff they tell you how to build in the tutorial. So this is nice so that you can, if you're sort of lost by the tutorial, you can just click on Open Tutorial and it'll have it all pre-built. But what they'll be doing is telling you how to actually make this stuff over here. Another way to learn Max is go to the Help menu up in the top here. There's lessons you can browse. There's a tour you can take. There's the forum online, the Max community. You can post questions to that. Examples is helpful. It's got lots of like built-in tools. You can rip those apart. I learned a lot about Max from looking at other people's stuff and analyzing what's going on. So like we look at their reverb patch. If we take it here, this looks pretty all simple because they've had it sort of set up in a nice way. But if we open up some parts of their patch that are sort of hidden, we see there's some complexity under the hood. And looking and analyzing at stuff like this is very helpful, and it's a huge way to learn by tearing other things apart. There are tons of Max Msp tutorials on YouTube. You should look them up. Those are very helpful when you get started. And finally, I'll say like one of the most helpful things in Max Msp is the integrated help files. So like if you're working on a patch, or if you're looking at something that someone else did and you don't know what's going on, like for example, if you're in this patch here, the microtonal ear training patch, and you want to understand, well, what is this big thing here with all the notes in it? You can right click on it and then say, the first item will be open Bach.roll help. Bach.roll is the name of this object. Click open Bach.roll help, and then it will have a whole help file showing you how the thing works. And that goes for anything you can make in Max Msp. So like, oh, I don't understand what this thing is doing the Bach.shelf object here. Right click, open Bach.shelf help. Contains everything you'd want to know. Now, the Bach objects are a little bit more advanced, so you might want to go through those Max Msp tutorials before you look at the Bach tutorials. But Bach has its own tutorial system. If you go to Extras at the top here, and go down to Bach.overview, you'll have an introduction here. You can read about what this library is, what it does. The tutorials are extremely well written and very important to work through, at least like the first 4 or 5. Understand how the program works. So you click on a tutorial and click like start from the beginning. This one just goes over data structures, but they get into fairly advanced topics pretty quickly. And I highly recommend you go through those. Great. Hope that was useful. If you have any questions, you can get in touch with me about these, and I'll do my best to answer them. Good luck.